Hello, Dare to Search reporting. We owe it to our children and our community to understand the rights we have and how those rights are being enforced today. Let's start with the foundation. In 1964, the United States passed Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, a law that made it illegal for employers to discriminate based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. For Black workers, especially in places like Alabama, this law marked a turning point. Before Title VII, discrimination wasn't hidden, it was open. Black workers were often locked into the lowest-paying jobs, shut out of management, and denied opportunities no matter their skill. After Title VII, those practices became illegal. But the law alone didn't change everything. People had to fight to make it real. One of the most important moments in that fight came in 1971 with Griggs v. Duke Power Company. In that case, the Supreme Court said something powerful. Even if a company's rules look neutral, if they unfairly block Black workers and aren't truly necessary for the job, they are illegal. That decision helped expose discrimination that wasn't obvious on the surface, what we call disparate impact. That mattered deeply in the South. Many companies had replaced whites-only signs with testing requirements or diploma rules that quietly kept Black workers out. After Griggs, those barriers could be challenged. To enforce these rights, the government created the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, or EEOC. This is the agency where workers file complaints, where investigations begin, and where some cases are taken to court. Now, here's where we need to pay attention, not just to the law, but to how it's enforced. There is now more emphasis on individual cases, one person proving they were directly discriminated against rather than broad patterns affecting entire communities. There has also been skepticism toward disparate impact cases, which historically have been one of the strongest tools for uncovering hidden discrimination, and recently, we've seen something else that signals this shift. The EEOC leadership, Andrea Lucas, has publicly encouraged white men who believe they have been discriminated against to come forward and file complaints. This was not a traditional advertisement, but it was a very visible public message. Andrea Lucas, head of the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, made a public call, mainly through social media and public messaging in late 2025. She encouraged white men who believe they experienced discrimination to file complaints with the EEOC. In one message, she said they may have a claim and could recover money under federal civil rights laws. This included a video message specifically directed at white male employees, part of a broader focus on what's called reverse discrimination. But historically, the EEOC's mission has focused on addressing systemic barriers faced by groups who were locked out of opportunity, especially Black workers in the South. So when the focus shifts, it raises an important question: what happens to the enforcement of those broader patterns of inequality? Enforcement priorities have also changed. There is increased attention on religious discrimination, national origin claims, and cases sometimes described as reverse discrimination. At the same time, broader systemic race-based cases may receive less focus. And while the EEOC cannot legally ignore complaints, leadership can influence how they are handled, whether they are deeply investigated, quickly closed, or left for individuals to pursue on their own in court. This is why knowledge matters, because when we understand our history from the struggles before 1964, to the victory in cases like Griggs, to the shifts happening today, we are better prepared to protect what was fought for. And we owe that not just to ourselves, but to the next generation watching us, because rights don't just live in laws. They live in whether people know them, use them, and defend them. Thanks for listening, and keep your head on a swivel.